Australia scored 400 plus runs on day one. Then we were reduced to 80, 85 for four. From there, almost the thought of victory doesn't cross your mind.
The wall was once again the wall in that particular second innings. It's a champion performance. You know, when you think about Rahul Dravid, you think about averages of the wall of in and above 50. And so I think largely Australia had the measure of Rahul Dravid.
Australia scored 400 plus runs on day one. Then we were reduced to 80, 85 for four. From there, almost the thought of victory doesn't cross your mind. From there to actually winning the test match, something that very honestly, hand on heart, you thought that you could do it, but there was not enough belief that you could do it because India hadn't done it before that, and the press around, the whole environment around was suggesting that it is a mountain too high to climb. But then we did that.
What Dravid did, and if my memory serves me correct, in that Adelaide innings was that he just was able to understand that he was going to get a bad ball, perhaps two, in any given over. And so he really waited on that.
It wasn't the top Australian attack of that time, but in a test match where the team batting first has scored over 550 and you've reduced the opposition for about 85 for four, you also know that you're only a couple of mistakes away from conceding a huge first innings lead. There was no allowance to actually have an error of judgment. And secondly, at that point in time, I think what Australia really mastered in was the art of inducing mistakes. For Rahul to actually blunt that attack and to master the situation, because it was not just the attack but also the situation that India found themselves in, was, I think, his just determination and patience and years and years of hard work that came to the fore, because it was almost like a flawless innings. Now, there's a little story, backstory to the test match as well, where John Wright actually had a chat with Rahul, and John sensed that Rahul was putting too much pressure on himself and asked him to actually take a break. So this was 2 days before the test match started. He said, Rahul, go watch a movie. Now, that is something that Rahul had never done in his career, wouldn't even contemplate, but on John's insistence, he went with Viru to actually watch a movie. But that was John's idea of taking pressure off Rahul, the pressure that he was putting on himself. He had a great England tour before that, so there was no reason for anybody to actually think that Rahul didn't have the class to succeed in Australia. Something that he hadn't done on the earlier tour, the 1999 tour. That was a bit of a nightmarish tour. But 2003, he was putting too much pressure on himself, and therefore, when you saw him celebrate the way he did, it was, I think, the vent. It was a way to now express that the monkey was finally off. The monkey that only he was responsible to have it on his back.
We had a saying here in Australia on our non-drop-in wickets that every run in the second innings is worth 2 runs. The wall was once again the wall in that particular second innings, and he just was so ruthless, grinding us out. It was just a champion performance. 6 wickets down, getting 233 is no mean effort in the second innings at Adelaide, where it was hot, dry, deteriorating, and it was an innings of significance.
Crossing the finish line is the toughest thing in sport. The moment you start seeing that this is where the destination is when you start faltering a little. So to have again the same kind of composure, the same kind of resilience, the same kind of technical competence that you associate with Rahul Dravid, he was once again there, flawless. So it was, yes, if you can bat once like that, it's great. He was able to bat twice like that in the same test match against Australia. That is why it was an epic test match for Rahul.